Well, hello there. Hello, fellow soul anarchists, brothers, sisters, and everyone in between. Welcome to the Sunday Night Burn. It's Sunday night, it's 2112. And yes, as a reference to the greatest band of all time, Rush. So glad you're here. Let's get in a little closer. And for those of you who have been here many times, welcome back. And those of you who are here for the first time, this is a tradition of we soul anarchists. This is something we do every Sunday night. We get together, we talk, we share a story or two, an anecdote perhaps, and a drink and some warmth. So, in the spirit of a fireside chat, normally, we would be around a fire, but we can't do that exactly. So, I encourage you to light something on fire in your own home. Light some incense or a candle or whatever. Make that part of your Sunday night ritual when you join me. I fire up a little candle here. Or you could burn something else that makes you feel nice. That'd be good. That'd be real good. Hey, what's up, T? Cheers. And it's a BYOB event, so bring your own beverage. I'm going to be, I hate to brag, but tonight I'm drinking not just any beer, but one that's won many awards over the years. The let's see, which award was that it won? It was the I think it was like the Wisconsin State Fair in 1862 or something like that. Anyway, cheers. And it just keeps winning. Anyway, so this week I've been playing with AI. I've been using some of these new AI image generation tools to create stuff for my DJ sets. And Tiana, you're drinking a Rainier? Nice. Yeah, it's just the Northwest version of it. Very good. And yeah, I've been playing with AI stuff a lot. It's one of those things I've been, people have been talking about it, and I dragged my feet just a little bit getting into this, but I finally carved out a little time to really take the plunge. And for those of you who don't know, there are some AI, some artificial intelligence driven tools out there where you can basically get on this app or a website and just tell it what you want it to make a picture of. Like make a picture of 4 dogs playing poker, each wearing a different color hat, and it'll do it. And you can tell it, no, do it in a cartoon style. Do it in the style, make it look like it was drawn by a child using crayons. It'll do that. Make it photorealistic. Do it in the style of Annie Leibovitz, and it'll do that. It's insane. It's completely batshit crazy how powerful this is, and it does it fast and nearly free. Some of the tools are free, and the one I bought a membership to one of them, and it was really inexpensive, like $10 a month or something, And so I've been playing with this, and because like in my DJ sets, I love to layer in visuals. In the past, it's been either like video that I've shot myself, like video from the front of my motorcycle from a trip or something, or sometimes it'll be found footage, like footage from the space station from the NASA website, or from classic movies or whatever. Just go on YouTube and just find stuff and download it and use it. And that's been cool. But this is a whole other level. Like, this allows me to step more into the role of being like the director. No longer am I a photographer or just a video editor or a filmmaker or anything like that. I'm like the director now of the whole thing. And now, like, I have this technology assistant that I can just say, hey, go create this list of images for me. I need, I know what story I'm going to tell in this piece. And so I need this image, this image, this image, this image. And then I can just have it make them. And as many iterations as I want. Oh no, the sky doesn't look quite right on that. Let's change the sky like this. And I can put in a new prompt and it'll do it. It's incredible. I've been, honestly, This is the most fun I've been having as a creative person, maybe ever. Like, with all due respect to my career in photography, I've had a lot of great moments doing that, but this is so different. This is so wild. This is like just light years ahead of doing, making images with a camera. I mean, I love that still, and there's always going to be a place for it. And this is actually what I want to talk about tonight is a few things I've been thinking about how to position myself to benefit from AI instead of get completely smashed by it, because there's a real danger for that too. Um, anyway, so yeah, just to finish that last thought, I've this long weekend, all I've been doing is working on this music stuff and these AI images. And oh my God, like it is so fun. Because when I play this music, when I DJ, I have stories that go through my head and narratives, and I have visions of like where the music takes me. And in the past, I've had to like hope I could find something that sort of fit, kind of fit what I was thinking of. Now I can show you exactly what I have in my mind when I play this music. Now, like I can, it's just awesome. It's so fun. It is, oh my gosh, it's just the very best. I'm nerding out so hard on it. And some of the images that I've been able to make with it are ranging from just gorgeous, just kind of breathtaking, to the most ridiculous, hilarious shit in the world. Uh, like for instance, I there's one set I've been working on that's like a kind of this post-apocalyptic vibe of this post-apocalyptic city, this sort of dystopian big city, and the kind of the visual story of couples wandering through the streets of the city and finding their way to this amazing underground dance club and having a magical night. And I've been coming to it as if to say, yeah, the world is going to hell in a lot of ways, but tonight we will feel amazing, and tonight we'll make something really beautiful happen, and we'll go to this place and we'll have this a moment. And so that's kind of the story I've been telling with these images, and it's so fun. And there's just millions of other stories to be told, and I just can't wait for this next chapter of my creative life. I'm so excited about it. Anyway, a few tools out there. Which ones am I using? I've been using Midjourney. I've been using a couple. I've been using Midjourney a whole bunch the past day or two. Adobe has one out called Firefly, and it's kind of in beta at the moment, and you have to have an Adobe account to get access to it. And it's good, but I can tell that it definitely has a limited data set that it works from. Like it pretty much just pulls all, because the way these AI tools work, these visual tools anyway, is they train themselves up on an existing data set. So for instance, one of the arguments about these AI tools is they're not actually creative. They're just regurgitating from other things that it's already seen. But that's kind of what humans do too. So I think that argument it doesn't hold up very well for me. Um, anyway, uh, so it obviously is pulling from Adobe stock, the Adobe stock catalog, and that's a limited set of images, and it's a set of images I'm kind of familiar with because I've used Adobe stock, and I've used several of the other stock agencies over the years, and so it's kind of limited to that. And then, but each of these different tools are trained up on different data sets, different libraries of images, and they each kind of have a sort of a signature look to them, you could say. And there's another one I've been using that's free called hold on, let me look it up. I have a tab open here someplace. It was called blue, oh shit, whoops, wrong keyboard. um blue willow bluewillow.ai. It runs on a Discord server, just like freaking the other one does. A bunch of them do that. Another AI tool I've been using a lot is a tool that Adobe put out, and what it does. This is kind of a different application, but this is just an example of how AI, like in my career and my line of work, is an amazing thing. They have this podcast tool where I can take an audio file, like a vocal track. This is only good for vocal tracks, and I can dump out the audio file into this tool, and it will go in and clean it up, and it'll take a really shitty sounding recording and make it sound pretty solid, and it'll take a solid recording and make it sound like really good. And it's particularly useful for like when I do podcasts over Zoom, and we're limited by the quality of the microphones on our laptops, for instance, and or sometimes like some of the reverb in the room. Like the conference room at our office has terrible reverb. It sounds just it just sounds awful. But I cleaned up, and I used this tool to automatically clean up that audio file, and it sounded really great. I was impressed, and it only takes like a couple minutes. And so now, these AI tools are allowing me to create better and faster and on a different level. And so this is anyway where I wanted to kind of invite you to be thinking about AI in your own life, because one thing, some commentator, I don't know, I've been watching a million of them this week, but there was a commentator who was pointing out that AI, in terms of technological discoveries, is probably it's bigger than the printing press. It's bigger than the internet itself. It's bigger than the invention of gunpowder. It's probably more along the lines of the discovery of fire in terms of how it will affect and change the human experience. I think they're right, because AI, like there are a lot of reasons for this, but I do think that we are sitting at the precipice of a major change in the human story, because it improves itself at an exponential rate. Other technologies don't. They're. I mean, for instance, we still use the internal combustion engine. That's 100-year-old technology, and we're still making like even big breakthroughs in gasoline engine technology are still gasoline engines. They're not like we're not making big innovations in that department. But AI changes differently. It evolves differently. It has an exponential growth curve because its ability to teach itself things like compounds. It's sort of like the idea of compounding interest, the power of artificial intelligence. That's probably the best way to think of it, but on steroids. And within the next couple of years, we are going to be dealing with something that is more powerful than anything that humans have ever dreamt of or created ever, period, end of story. And we don't know what to do with it. It's already out of hand. It's already off to the races. It's an arms race. It's happening between companies, between countries. It's pedal to the metal on AI development right now, and that's never going to change. And so anyway, it's crazy. It's here to stay. It's going to change everything. And so I've been thinking about like, what do we do? How can we be thinking about this in our own lives in order for it to be a good thing and not a horrible thing? And, there are many rabbit holes to go down here, but the one I've been thinking about is just one I've been experiencing. And that is to look at it like, will it replace parts of my job? 100%. Yep. It will 100% replace parts of my job, like parts of my role as a photographer. Like in the past, like a year ago at work, if they needed like, hey, what we need a picture of a family walking through a field, carrying water bottles and drinking from them, and and being very happy, and there's a dog next to them, then I would have to either go out and stage the shoot myself, hire models, do it all, and it's expensive and time consuming. um, but it's good, it's custom, it's exactly what you need, or I could get on a stock agency and just find a photo that's close enough, and that's less expensive, but it's a compromise because it's close enough. It's not the exact thing you need. But now with AI, I can just get onto Midjourney and tell it exactly what I just told you, and it'll do it in like 4 seconds. So that just wiped out tons and tons of jobs, Um, and so I've been thinking a lot about about instead of thinking about, oh, it's so sad, the parts of my career, my work are being replaced. It's like I get to think of it differently. It's no, now I'm more like I'm the art director. Now I'm not the photographer anymore. I'm the art director. I'm the one that makes the decisions about the stories that are being told. I'm the one that it's more meta, And so now I think we all need to be thinking about what roles, what tasks do you have in your current job that you wish you had somebody to help you with, like an entry level assistant, a junior associate, a virtual assistant in the Philippines, whatever. AI is going to be there to do it for you. And it's going to take a whole bunch of things off your hands, whether you want it to or not. And so be thinking right now about what those tasks are so that you can more effortlessly, seamlessly move with this tidal wave that's happening instead of just get surprised by it. Yeah. What are my thoughts about ChatGPT? Not gonna lie, I've tried it without figuring out some Apex and JavaScript code, and it totally lies sometimes. It does. Yeah, that they call that hallucination. For instance, I'm watching right now. Before I jumped on here, I'm watching a piece from 60 Minutes on AI, and they're talking about, like, the journalist, for instance, puts in his name. He's like, "What? Tell me about blah blah blah." Puts in his own name, and ChatGPT proceeds to give a little bio on him, and then says things like, and he's interviewed, this politician and that politician and this head of state and and musician Ed Sheeran, And what was interesting is it spoke about it as if it had actually happened. And these are people that this guy would potentially interview, but he's never interviewed any of them. And so what this current kind of AI does is it's predictive. It tries to anticipate what would be right, you know. Um, and that's how it gets creative. And so yeah, like it'll spit things out. Sometimes they're just completely false. And yeah, in the industry they call that hallucination. And that's an area of research. They're trying to figure out what to do with that. You know, it's wild. Yeah, at least it's trying. Yeah, and I've seen it. I've seen it write code. I watched a video the other day. There's this YouTuber I watch, and all he talks about is AI. It's just like AI news every couple days, and it's really he's really good. And he did a demonstration of having chat. He used AI to help him write a video game, and he knows nothing about coding. And he basically wrote a Super Mario Brothers type video game, only using like Chat GPT and one other similar kind of tool that would allow him to put in longer strings of text. Um, but yeah, and he showed all the screenshots. He showed the process. It took him several hours to get it done, but he did it. It was wild. So again, like entry level coding, gone. It's the future belongs to those who will understand how to make AI be its like serve us, serve you, serve me, serve you in what we do. And yeah, it's just bananas. I don't know. I'm sure this will be a conversation we have like 300 more times this year. There's just never been anything like it, and I think we all ought to Do what we can to stay aware. I mean, imagine being a caveman and being that one that's like, your neighbor comes over, is like, hey, check out this fire thing we invented. It allows us to cook. And imagine being the caveman that's like, fuck you and your fire. No, I don't want anything to do with your newfangled fire thing. You know, don't be that caveman or cave woman or cave person. We can't do that. I mean, you can, but it's just not going to end well. So, it's helped me with some code I thought to be unsolvable. Right. Um, yeah, it's fascinating. I was watching some other things I saw on some of these shows over this weekend. They're talking about how there's this certain set of proteins that scientists have been trying to code or like decode and study. And proteins are very, very complicated molecules. And they can take, he was saying that it might take a PhD researcher 5 years to solve one single protein, sequence. And he said they turned AI loose on all known proteins in nature. Like it was like 200,000 items, 200,000 proteins. And within like 2 hours, it had solved all of them. And he said, considering that old pace, just a few months ago, it would take one biology PhD, 5 years to sequence one protein. At that rate, it would take about 2 billion years to sequence all known, proteins. And this AI tool did it in 2 hours. And they open sourced the whole thing. They published the whole thing. They basically said, this is our gift to humanity. And that right there is going to allow researchers to develop new medicines, new treatments, new things like enzymes that eat plastics in landfills. Like it has so many incredible applications. It's just wild. AI is going to discover so many things that have just been too complicated for us. Another interesting one. They were talking about the game of chess. And we've all played chess, and we all know that computers can play chess, and so on and so forth. But they were talking about how they turned AI loose on chess, and it very quickly invented a strategy that no human in the history of the game has ever thought of. And there have been a lot of really smart people playing that game for a very, very long time. It's just wild. It's wild to think about what it's going to solve for us that we had maybe just written off as being completed or not solvable or whatever. So the next few years, no, it's not just from now on, it's just going to be wild. It's just going to be fucking bananas from here forward. So buckle in, take good care of yourself, be thinking about, again, like how you will be its master rather than the other way around. And anyway, I can't wait to put out my new DJ sets with these AI tools. Oh my gosh. Super, super, super excited. So speaking of that, in the description of the video, you will find a link to my DJ channel. So if you like deep house music, if you like progressive house music, go subscribe to that. It's Soul Anarchist Music is the name of the channel on YouTube. Speaking of DJ stuff, I've got a gig on Friday night opening for one of the deep house greats from the UK, DJ Paul Thomas. So I'm going to be doing an opening set for him at a club in downtown Salt Lake. So if you're around and you like that kind of thing, come on out. It happens to be during Pride weekend too. So it's probably going to be just completely insane. It should be fun. And I have new shirts available. New Soul Anarchist threads. I've got the link to that as well. And one of them is an AI inspired design. Very simple. Like if you've played with AI stuff like Tiana, you'll get it when you see it. So I won't say anything more, but just go stop into the Soul Anarchist threads store and you can see a couple things. I've got my new Kamala Harris quote t-shirt up there, the Chaosphere shirt, how dare you, and the new AI inspired design. So it's very simple, but yeah, I think you'll dig it. All right, my friends, let's get out of here. I want to go play with more of this stuff now. Oh, anyway, I'm having fun. I hope you guys are too. So thanks for joining. Keep up the fine work. T, it's good to see you here. Cheers.